Okay, we're here at the Collective, their booth here at Wind Up, and they have an array of really cool independent brands to take a look at. We're here with Asher, co-founder of the Collective, and he's going to walk us through some of these really amazing watches. Please take us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.
So at Collective, we try to focus on bringing in watches that have limited distribution in the US and that we think have a unique point of view or have a real reason for existing. So we pulled 4 watches out here, 3 of which are on sale here at the show, and one of which, well, since I saw what you had on your wrist, I thought we have to pull out. So why don't we start left to right? A couple of years ago, I met a wonderful guy named James Thompson, otherwise known as the Black Badger.
Yes.
Which is a wonderful moniker. James is a material science engineer, and his co-founder for Arcanaut watches is an industrial designer named Anders Brand. And together, they've created a really unusual watch. As you can see, it has a very unique case profile. It's curved, domed crystal, and a crown that's aligned that's designed to always align with the case. So if you see, it's locked.
Yeah.
Unless you know the secret of how to unlock it.
I don't actually. This is the first time I've ever handled one. I've always wanted to see one in hands, so this is a great opportunity.
Thanks. I think a lot of people, first of all, think that the watch is big. It actually wears really, really well because it's designed to really hug your wrist. The crown system is really interesting. You pull it out to the first position and it free spins, nothing happens. Second position allows you to set the watch. Then you'll see that the crown is still misaligned, right?
Right.
So that allows you to spin it right back around and snap it right back into place.
Awesome.
Yeah, super neat. These come with a wide range of straps and are a really international affair because with Fordite, which is essentially dried car paint,
right.
That's coming from Detroit. The watch is designed in Denmark, and the dial is actually manufactured in Sweden.
James is like a little bit of a mad scientist, right? He loves loom, and he works with, he's made rings out of Fordite and rings that are loomed and things like that. So obviously using materials that are out of the ordinary, really.
Yeah, and to give an idea too, the next watch that's coming out from him is called the Havender. And the Havender, James has figured out how to extract essentially a lavender color from mussels that he's pulling out of the water near where he lives. He's using a proprietary process to pull out that color and then casting that into a dial.
Wow. Okay, that's very interesting. So it's not mother of pearl. It's like it's something weird and interesting.
Muscle juice?
Yeah, muscle juice style. That's very cool.
So we'll take a look at another piece which is completely different, and that's this. This is the Montblanc and Minerva P05 mono pusher chronograph we're collected. So this is our most recent collaboration, our 8th collaboration since we started. For those who are not familiar, Minerva is a legendary chronograph manufacturer. So up there with Lemania or Longines in terms of historical value. And the caliber running in this is 1321, which is a caliber with almost 100 years of continuous production. Some minor distinctions prior to the earlier version, the 1320. And the movement on this watch features probably the most famous design element of any Minerva watch, which is the devil's tail, which serves no horological purpose other than to add additional interior angles.
Right. And it looks cool.
And it looks cool. The design is taken from or inspired by some of the sporting stopwatches that Minerva made in the 1940s and 50s.
And this is a rotating bezel that's made out of white gold, right?
Correct. And you can see it's a friction bezel.
Right.
So it just rotates really smoothly. And that's actually a feature that Minerva patented for their aeronautical chronographs.
Cool. Very cool. Beautiful watch. Gorgeous.
And then moving along here, we have another hard left turn. This is a Nicholas Hacko watchmaker watch. This is the Mark II, the Curl. This is a study in titanium. This watch, the star of the show of this watch is really the dial, which is a blue titanium dial that's been guillocheted with what they call their curl pattern. Additionally, you have titanium numerals which are applied to the dial, and some absolutely incredible monoblock hands that have been milled from titanium. These guys are dedicated to the idea of high precision machining as it relates to watchmaking. So in many ways, they're way different than a lot of folks that are interested in hand finishing. Which doesn't mean that they don't value it. They're focused on the machining.
Right.
So there's lots of different ways to think about quality in the watch world. Here, not only do you have legitimate rarity, you also have some folks that are dedicated to a particular form of craft.
Right. Very cool. And basically trying to get it as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
Straight from the CNC.
The analogy I would give is, while some independent watchmakers might aspire to, say, be Kari, these guys might aspire in some ways to the industrial perfection of, say, Rolex.
Right.
You know, it's that path as opposed to the hand finishing path.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. Very cool.
And then finally, I hear you like URWERK.
I do. I have a URWERK 103 on. This is actually a very recent purchase of mine, so
Congratulations.
thank you.
You know, I hear that the 103 is the most traded independent watch of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's like more recorded transactions of that than any other independent watch.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. It is a long watch.
Yeah, it started. I think this is from 2011, but it was like 2006, right? Was the
Yeah,
first?
it was in serial production for like a good chunk of URWERK's actual time.
Right.
So pretty wild.
Yeah.
In 2019, they released the UR100. And we were lucky enough to get to work with them. And I'll be honest, like, those two guys are very much my horological idols. There's a certain kind of punk rock vibe to the way that they approach watchmaking that I just really admire. So we had the opportunity to work with them on this. This watch was a tribute to the Space Shuttle Enterprise. We did it during the pandemic. I grew up here in New York City, and the Intrepid Museum now houses the Enterprise. When the museum was, you know, like every museum, having a tough time during the pandemic, we worked with them and URWERK to make this. And what makes this watch a tribute to the Enterprise are that these lateral indicators here, instead of tracking what they track on the standard space-time, the velocity of Earth through space and the rotation, they track the timing for taking off on the space shuttle and the timing for landing on the space shuttle, which is a very different way of approaching a NASA watch. You know, Martin Fry, the lead designer at the brand, he thinks about instrumentation as a design language. I think this really brings that to life.
Yes, definitely. Beautiful execution. And I love just the colors and everything that you chose here. It's phenomenal.
The colors, interestingly, the colors are taken directly from the mechanical controls of the Enterprise. Because the Enterprise, which was the prototype space shuttle, was the last spacecraft to have a mechanical cockpit. So if you cover this and you just look at that, that's what an oxygen gauge looked like.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool. Beautiful. Thank you so much for showing us these.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. It was really last minute just walking by, and thank you, and hopefully we'll do something in the future.
I love that. Thanks.
Thank you.